You hear it before you see it, the loud howl in the middle of the night, the torn-up couch, the muddy paw prints in your garden. Then you spot your beagle, wagging its tail and looking at you with cute eyes, not realizing the mess it made. Beagles are full of fun and energy, but behind those floppy ears is a smart dog with a super strong nose. They were born to follow smells, hunt, and never give up, and that's what sometimes makes them hard to handle at home. If you have a beagle, you already know the struggle. They don't always listen, they jump on counters, and they somehow find ways to escape. But they're not being bad, they're just following their instincts. Beagles aren't naughty dogs, they're working dogs living in homes. The secret to a happy life with them is understanding, not scolding. In this video, we'll talk about the 5 most common beagle behavior problems and simple, science-based tips to help you and your furry friend live peacefully together. Because every beagle deserves an owner who understands them, and every owner deserves a peaceful home. Problem 1. Excessive barking and howling. Let's start with the noise. That signature beagle sound that carries 3 blocks in every direction. The aroo-aroo that starts when a squirrel passes by the window and continues for the next 20 minutes. The barking when you leave. The howling when the doorbell rings, the vocal announcements at every mail delivery, every neighbor walking by, every leaf that dares to rustle. This isn't your beagle being dramatic. This is vocalization as a working tool. In hunting packs, beagles were bred to bay loudly so hunters could track them through dense forests by sound alone. That instinct doesn't just disappear because they live in an apartment now. To your beagle, vocalizing is communication. It's alerting the pack. It's expressing excitement, frustration, loneliness, or the simple joy of having found an interesting smell. The problem intensifies when beagles are left alone. Separation anxiety is common in this breed because they were never meant to work solo. Pack animals by nature, being isolated triggers stress, and that stress comes out as noise. Your neighbors hear a nuisance. Your beagle feels abandoned. Dealing with the noise requires understanding its root cause. First, exercise is non-negotiable. A tired beagle is a quieter beagle. These dogs need at least an hour of physical activity daily, split into 2 sessions. Not a gentle stroll around the block. Real exercise. Running, hiking, playing fetch in an enclosed area. Their hunting ancestors covered miles daily. Your beagle's body still expects that. Second, mental stimulation matters just as much as physical. Scent work exercises tap into their natural abilities while burning mental energy. Hide treats around the house. Use puzzle feeders. Teach them to find specific scented objects. When their brain is engaged in tracking work, they're too focused to pause, howl at passing cars. Third, never reinforce the barking. When your beagle barks for attention and you respond by yelling, giving treats to quiet them, or even just making eye contact, you've rewarded the behavior. Instead, practice the quiet command. Wait for a natural pause in the barking, immediately say quiet and reward the silence. Consistency is everything. Every family member must follow the same rules. For separation anxiety, gradual desensitization works. Start by leaving for just 30 seconds. Return before the barking starts. Gradually increase the duration over weeks, not days. Make departures boring with no emotional goodbyes. Make arrivals equally calm. Consider leaving a radio or white noise machine on to mask triggering outdoor sounds. In extreme cases, consultation with a veterinary behaviorist may be necessary. Some beagles benefit from anxiety medication during the training process, though this should never replace proper behavioral modification, only support. Problem 2. Food obsession and counter surfing. If you've ever turned your back for 5 seconds and found your beagle standing on the kitchen table, pause deep in your dinner, you understand this problem intimately. Beagles don't just love food. They're obsessed with it. This isn't gluttony. This survival instinct is amplified by selective breeding. In hunting scenarios, beagles had to maintain energy over long tracking sessions with unpredictable mealtimes. Dogs who could consume large quantities quickly and opportunistically had better survival rates. Modern beagles inherited this drive, but now they live in homes with readily available food and zero need to hunt for survival. The instinct remains without the outlet. This manifests as constant begging, stealing food from counters and tables, raiding garbage cans, and even eating non-food items. Beagles are notorious for ingesting dangerous objects, leading to expensive emergency vet visits for intestinal blockages. Their food drive overrides their judgment. Managing food obsession requires environmental control and training. Never leave food unattended at Beagle height. It sounds obvious, but consistency matters. One successfully stolen sandwich reinforces months of training. Use baby gates to keep your Beagle out of the kitchen during meal prep. Store garbage in cabinets with child-proof locks or in areas your Beagle cannot access. Train a solid leave it command using high-value treats. Start easy by placing a treat on the floor, covering it with your hand, and only rewarding when your Beagle backs away. Gradually increase difficulty until they can resist, even when you're across the room. This command can literally save their life if they find something toxic. For counter-surfing, make the behavior unrewarding. Booby trap counters with cookie sheets balanced on the edge so they clatter when touched. Use motion-activated air canisters that release a harmless puff when your Beagle approaches. The goal is making counter-surfing unpleasant without you being the enforcer. Feed meals in puzzle toys or slow feeder bowls. This extends eating time, provides mental stimulation, and satisfies some of the foraging instinct. Consider multiple small meals throughout the day rather than 2 large ones. This keeps blood sugar stable and reduces desperate food-seeking behavior. Never use food as your primary training reward with Beagles. They'll work for food, yes, but they won't learn impulse control. Mix in praise, toys, and play as rewards. Teach them that good behavior has varied rewards, not just edible ones. Problem 3. Escape artistry and wandering. Beagles are escape artists. They dig under fences. They squeeze through impossibly small gaps. They learn to open doors, gates, even simple latches. Once loose, they vanish, noses to the ground, following whatever scent captured their attention. Hours later, they might be miles away with no idea how to get home. This behavior is rooted in their tracking heritage. When a Beagle catches an interesting scent, everything else disappears. Your voice calling their name, the busy street ahead, the fact that they've never been in this neighborhood before. The scent becomes their entire world, and they must follow it. This isn't disobedience. It's biology overriding training. The tragedy is that wandering Beagles face serious dangers. Traffic accidents are the leading cause of death in escaped Beagles. They also risk encountering aggressive dogs, eating poisonous substances, or simply becoming lost in unfamiliar territory. Even well-trained Beagles can fail to respond when their scent drive activates. Prevention must be multi-layered because no single solution is foolproof. First, secure your yard properly. Fences should be at least 5 feet tall with no gaps larger than 4 inches. Extend fencing 6 inches underground or lay wire mesh at ground level to prevent digging. Regularly inspect for weak points. Beagles test. Set boundaries constantly. Check gates religiously. Install spring-loaded hinges that automatically close gates. Use carabiner clips or padlocks on latches because Beagles learn to lift simple hooks. Consider installing a double gate entry system, creating an airlock effect, so even if one gate opens, there's a second barrier. Never trust your Beagle off-leash in unfenced areas. Their recall is notoriously unreliable once a scent captures their attention. Even Beagles with excellent obedience can vanish when their nose engages. Use a long training lead in open spaces so they can explore while remaining under your control. Microchip your Beagle and ensure registration information stays current. Use a collar with ID tags that include your phone number. Consider a GPS tracking collar designed for dogs. These devices can locate your Beagle within minutes of escape, potentially saving their life. Provide adequate exercise and enrichment at home. Many escape attempts stem from boredom and understimulation. A Beagle with a tired body and satisfied mind is less motivated to seek adventure beyond the yard. Train a solid recall using high-value rewards, but understand its limitations. Practice in progressively more distracting environments, always setting your Beagle up for success. Never call them to you for something unpleasant like nail trims or baths, as this poisons the recall cue. Problem 4. Selective hearing and stubbornness. You call your Beagle's name once, twice, 10 times. They look directly at you, then return to sniffing the exact same spot on the carpet they've been investigating for 5 minutes. You know they heard you. They know they heard you. But they've decided that particular smell is more important than your command. This is selective hearing, and it drives Beagle owners to frustration. But here's what's actually happening. Your Beagle isn't being stubborn in the way humans understand stubbornness. They're weighing competing motivations. Right now, that scent is providing more value than whatever reward you might offer for obedience. It's a cost-benefit analysis, and you're losing. Beagles were bred to work independently. When trailing scents through difficult terrain, hunters needed dogs who could make decisions without constant human guidance. That independence translates to a dog who questions commands, evaluates whether compliance serves their interests, and sometimes chooses their own path. Combined with their powerful scent drive, you get a dog who appears willfully disobedient but is actually just following stronger biological impulses. Improving responsiveness requires making yourself more valuable than distractions. Use higher value rewards than whatever is competing for attention. If your Beagle ignores kibble when something interesting is happening, upgrade to real chicken, cheese, or hot dogs. Find what your specific Beagle finds irresistible, then reserve those treats exclusively for training. Keep training sessions short and positive. Beagles have relatively short attention spans when not tracking scents. 5-minute sessions multiple times daily work better than one long session. End on success, not frustration. Train in progressively more distracting environments. Master commands at home first, then in the yard, then on quiet streets, gradually increasing difficulty. Don't expect perfect performance in a dog park if your Beagle hasn't practiced in moderately distracting environments first. Never repeat commands. Say it once. If your Beagle doesn't respond, physically guide them into position, then reward. Repeating teaches them they can ignore you multiple times before compliance becomes necessary. One command, one expectation. Build a reward history that makes listening worthwhile. Occasionally reward for simple behaviors your Beagle does naturally. Sitting calmly, treat. Making eye contact, treat. Coming when called, jackpot of treats and enthusiastic praise. Make engagement with you unpredictably wonderful. Understand that perfect obedience isn't realistic for most Beagles. They'll never be border collies hanging on your every word. Adjusting expectations reduces frustration for both of you. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Problem 5. Destructive behavior and separation anxiety. You return home to chaos. Couch cushions shredded, shoes destroyed, baseboards chewed, door frames scratched. Your Beagle greets you with frantic enthusiasm, completely unaware they've just caused hundreds of dollars in damage. Or maybe they know, cowering in the corner, not from guilt but from learned fear of your reaction to the mess. Destructive behavior in Beagles typically stems from 3 sources: separation anxiety, insufficient exercise, or boredom. Often, it's a combination of all 3. Beagles are social creatures who struggle with isolation. When anxiety rises, they seek relief through chewing, digging, or other destructive outlets. It's self-soothing behavior, not revenge for being left alone. Insufficient physical and mental stimulation creates pent-up energy that must go somewhere. A Beagle who hasn't had proper exercise will redirect that energy into redecorating your home. Boredom leads to self-created entertainment, and unfortunately, their entertainment choices rarely align with your preferences. Separation anxiety is particularly common in Beagles because of their pack-oriented nature. Warning signs include destructive behavior only when you're absent, attempts to follow you everywhere, distress during pre-departure routines, and excessive vocalization when alone. This is genuine psychological distress, not misbehavior. Addressing destructive behavior requires identifying and treating the root cause. For energy-related destruction, increase exercise significantly. Remember that Beagles are working dogs. They need jobs. A bored Beagle is a destructive Beagle. Provide at least 60 to 90 minutes of exercise daily. Include activities that engage their scent drive, like tracking games or nosework classes. Create an enriched environment for when you're gone. Rotate toys to maintain novelty. Use food dispensing puzzles that take time to solve. Hide treats throughout the house so your Beagle can hunt while you're away. Leave the radio or television on to provide comforting background noise and mask triggering outdoor sounds. For separation anxiety, implement gradual desensitization. Start with very brief absences, returning before anxiety builds. Slowly extend duration over weeks. Make departures and arrivals low-key. No emotional goodbyes or enthusiastic hellos that emphasize the significance of your absence. Consider crate training if done correctly and humanely. A properly introduced crate becomes a den, a safe space. Never use it for punishment. Make it comfortable with bedding and toys. Feed meals inside. Practice with the door open first, then closed briefly, gradually extending. Duration. Some beagles feel more secure in defined spaces. Provide appropriate chewing outlets. Beagles need to chew. Give them legal options like durable rubber toys, bully sticks, or frozen Kong toys stuffed with peanut butter and kibble. Redirect inappropriate chewing immediately and praise when they choose correct items. If anxiety is severe, consult a veterinary behaviorist. Some beagles benefit from anti-anxiety medication during behavior modification. There's no shame in using medical support when psychological distress is genuine. Medication alone won't fix the problem, but it can make training possible. Never punish destructive behavior after the fact. Your beagle won't connect your anger with something they did hours ago. They'll only learn to fear your return home, worsening anxiety. Focus on prevention and addressing underlying causes instead. Living with a beagle isn't easy, but it's very rewarding if you understand them. They're not lazy lapdogs, they're smart, active, and full of energy. Their habits aren't bad. They come from being bred as hunting dogs. The howling means they're trying to communicate. Their love for food helped their ancestors survive, and their wandering is just their nature as scent hounds. Instead of trying to change them, give them ways to use their natural instincts, let them explore, sniff, and play with purpose. Training a beagle takes patience and consistency, but it's worth it. When you learn to work with their strong nose and playful mind, you'll build a bond like no other. They'll greet you with excitement, make you laugh every day, and remind you that things don't need to be perfect to be amazing. Your beagle might not always listen perfectly, but they'll always be full of heart, and that's what makes them truly special.